Thank you, Mr. Isaacson. The reason why Princeton was such a retail hub, a gentleman like that. In the early 1900s, America talked about many things. We talked in Princeton about topics that, interestingly enough, are the same topics and concerns that are talked about yet today. Immigration. I understand today immigration is a great concern to Americans, and immigration to us as well was a problem. Immigrants were flooding into America. In 1910, almost 75% of the immigrants that came to this country came from Southern Europe and Eastern Europe. Politics. Politics, as always, is a topic now and was a topic then. I understand today there's a split in the Republican Party. There's a Tea Party, I believe it's called. If you think back in 1912, when Teddy Roosevelt was denied the nomination to be president of the United States, by his party, to be the president of the United States, and it went to the then incumbent president, Taft, he split away from the Republican Party and ran for president under the Bull Moose Party. The Democrats, on their 46th ballot of their convention, nominated Woodrow Wilson, and it said that Woodrow Wilson became president because of the split in the Republican Party at that time. Food safety, that was another issue that we were concerned about then, and I know you're concerned about now. I've heard stories of eggs and lettuce and other things. Your food supply chain causes you problems even today. And back then, if you recall, in 1906, Upton Sinclair published his novel, The Jungle. It was a graphic indictment of the food processing industry in Chicago. So we've talked about the same problems then and now. And then we talked about them and other things, culture and literature and the arts, at a literary society that was known as the Beltonian Society. A literary society that met monthly in Princeton. It was started in Wheaton, Illinois in 1856. And among the topics we discussed, because we were a literary society, was poetry. Princeton had a man here who was a poet that we very much enjoyed discussing. John Howard Bryant. Mr. Bryant, a Princeton poet, lived in Princeton. He built a house in Princeton. Mr. Bryant's house it's still there. You can see it. It's on South Main Street. It's a large brick Victorian mansion. And that Bryant house still today sits, at the entrance to Bryant subdivision. He's here with us today. It's a great pleasure to us that he has agreed to come and read one of his poems, a portion from one of his poems entitled Autumn. So it is with great humility and honor and pride that I am able to announce to you now the poet, John Howard Bryant. Mr. Bryant.